Would you like to come to my cafe?
Bluey and Bingo growing up? Now that's a game changer. From backyard adventures to big kid challenges, the Healer sisters are stepping into a whole new world. With Aunt Brandy's baby on the way and new friendships forming, things are about to get interesting. So, what's next for Bluey and Bingo? Let's find out!
Make sure you pick up some beans for dinner, Rita. What was that, Janet?
Bluey and Bingo are about to have their world turned upside down in the best, and probably most chaotic, way possible. A brand new baby is joining the Healer family. This means the sisters are about to get a first-hand experience of what it's really like to have a tiny, unpredictable, and very loud little cousin. Now, Bluey and Bingo love playing house. But let's be real, this is going to be a whole different ball game. Their imaginary babies, whether it's a stuffed toy or a banana in a blanket, have always been cooperative. A real baby! That's a whole new challenge. Sleepless nights, messy nappies, and the undeniable fact that babies do not follow the rules of a perfectly planned pretend tea party. Bluey might think she's the boss, but she's about to meet her match in a tiny pup who has no interest in sticking to a script. Then there's Socks, who has already grown from a wild, nipping puppy into a full-on toddler with opinions, energy, and absolutely no hesitation when it comes to asserting herself. Bluey and Bingo might think they've got this whole older cousin thing figured out, but when a newborn is added to the mix, the family dynamic is bound to shift in ways they never expected. But the real question is, how will Bluey adjust to not being the center of attention? She's always been the leader in their games, the one making the rules. But babies don't take directions. They cry when they want, sleep when they want, and demand all the attention all the time. Will Bluey embrace the challenge of being a responsible older cousin, or will she struggle to share the spotlight? And speaking of family shakeups, Winton's dad has officially moved in with the terrier's mom, which means Winton is about to gain a new sibling, or at the very least, a future step-sibling. That's a lot of change for everyone, and it's safe to say playdates are about to get very interesting. One thing's for sure, growing up means rolling with the punches, and Bluey and Bingo are about to learn that family isn't just parents and siblings. It's new faces, big responsibilities, and a whole lot of unpredictable, hilarious adventures. Bandit Healer has always been a fun, laid-back dad, but even he has his secrets, one of which almost completely changed Bluey's world. At some point in the past, Bandit had actually planned to sell their house. That's right, the home where Bluey and Bingo have spent their entire childhood, creating endless memories, was almost put on the market. And Bluey? She had no idea. This little bombshell was casually dropped by Chili when she came to visit, revealing to Bluey that her dad once considered packing up and moving on. And let's just say, Bluey did not take it well. I mean, can you blame her? This isn't just any house. It's their house, where every scratch on the floor tells a story, where countless games of keepy-uppy have been played, and where even the backyard has witnessed some of their biggest adventures. The thought of leaving it behind must have hit Bluey like a ton of bricks. Now, Bandit, being Bandit, probably had his reasons. Maybe he was considering a fresh start. Maybe he thought the family needed more space. Or, let's be real, maybe he was just tired of stepping on tiny plastic figurines scattered all over the living room floor. Whatever the case, one thing is clear. He never actually went through with it. But that doesn't mean Bluey wasn't left wondering. What if he had? It's a weird feeling to realize that something as huge as selling your home could have happened without you even knowing. It's like finding out your parents almost named you Gary instead of Bluey. It just doesn't feel right. And Bluey, being the thoughtful pup she is, probably started replaying every happy memory she's ever had in that house, realizing how different her life could have been if things had gone another way. But here's the thing about growing up. Sometimes you learn things about your parents that surprise you. And while Bandit might have once thought about selling their house, he ultimately didn't, because deep down, he knew just how special this place was to his family. The Healer's home isn't just a house, it's their home, and thankfully, it's exactly where it's meant to be. For as long as they can remember, Bluey and Bingo have shared a bedroom. It's where they've had their late-night giggle fits, whispered their wildest ideas, and created some of their best adventures. But as they grow older, the big question starts to loom. Is it time for separate bedrooms? We've already seen the healers test the idea before. In the episode Bedroom, Bluey and Bingo tried sleeping in different rooms, only to realize that it felt weird. After spending their whole lives side by side, being apart at night just didn't sit right with them. But that was then. Now, as Bluey gets older, the need for personal space might start to feel a bit more real. Think about it. Bluey is turning into a more independent pup, developing her own interests, and probably wanting a little more privacy. Maybe she wants a space where she can focus on her own projects, decorate the way she likes, or just have a moment of quiet away from Bingo's boundless energy. Meanwhile, Bingo, being the younger sister, might still crave the comfort of having her big sister nearby. Change can be exciting, but it can also be a little scary. But let's be real, this is Bluey we're talking about. If the girls do decide to get separate rooms, it won't just be a simple case of moving furniture. There will probably be a whole dramatic process. Maybe a negotiation session where they haggle over who gets which room, or a test run where they try sleeping apart again, but end up sneaking back into each other's beds. And knowing Bandit and Chili, they'll handle it in the most hilariously unhelpful way possible. Of course, even if they do separate, that doesn't mean their bond will change. Bluey and Bingo's relationship isn't built on proximity. It's built on years of play, teamwork, and unconditional sisterly love. They might have different rooms, but you know they'll still be sneaking into each other's space for impromptu games, secret handshakes, and late-night chats. So, will the healers finally take the plunge and split the bedrooms? Maybe. But one thing's for sure. No matter where they sleep, Bluey and Bingo will always find their way back to each other. Bingo Healer might be the youngest in the family, but when it comes to adventure, she's got a passport full of memories. If you take a closer look at the walls in the Healer home, you'll spot something pretty interesting. Photos of Bingo in different places, hinting that she's quite the little explorer. Now, we all know that Bingo has an active imagination, turning everyday moments into grand adventures. But these pictures suggest that her travels aren't just pretend, they're real. Whether it's visiting new towns, exploring nature, or even going on vacations with a family, Bingo seems to have racked up quite a few miles. One of the biggest hints of Bingo's traveling lifestyle comes from the framed photos on the walls. Unlike Bluey, who is often shown in familiar settings, Bingo has snapshots in places that look far from home. Could this mean she's gone on special trips with Chili? Maybe she's tagged along with relatives or had some one-on-one travel time with Bandit. The possibilities are endless. Let's not forget that Bingo has always been a bit of a free spirit. She's the one who effortlessly connects with nature, gets lost in her own little world, and finds joy in the smallest details. Traveling probably suits her perfectly. New sights, new people, and so many new things to discover. And knowing Bingo, she'd probably spend half the trip making friends with birds, rocks, or even clouds. Of course, it's also possible that Bingo's travels are linked to Chili's side of the family. We know that Chili's job has taken her to different places before, so maybe she brings Bingo along sometimes. Or maybe Bingo has visited family members who live further away. After all, she's still young, and these trips could be shaping her view of the world. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure. Bingo is a pup with places to go. Whether it's a quick getaway or a big family trip, those travel photos tell a story of a little dog who's seen more than most. And honestly, we wouldn't be surprised if Bingo ends up being the biggest world traveler in the Healer family. As Bluey and Bingo grow older, big changes are coming, and one of the biggest is their transition into new schools. It's a major milestone in any pup's life, and for the Healer sisters, it means stepping out of their comfort zone and into a whole new world of lockers, lunchboxes, and possibly algebra. Okay, maybe not algebra yet, but you get the point. Bluey, being the older of the two, will be the first to take that leap. She's moving up a grade and heading into the big kids' school, which is both exciting and a little scary. She's used to Calypso's calm, magical classroom full of creativity and friends she's known forever. But now, new teachers, new rules, and yes, new classmates who may not know the glory of a game of keepy-uppy or magic xylophone. But if anyone can charm a room full of strangers and turn them into lifelong friends by lunchtime, it's Bluey. Meanwhile, Bingo won't be far behind. She'll finally be joining Calypso's class at Glass House Primary. Up until now, we haven't seen much of Bingo's preschool adventures, but fans are eager to learn more about her own school life, her friends, her teachers, and how she navigates a classroom without her big sister by her side. Bingo's sweet, observant nature is sure to shine, and this new setting might help her blossom even more. And here's where it gets juicy. What if the sisters start making new friends who aren't part of their usual gang? Could Bluey start hanging out with an artsy dog who loves drama class, while Bingo bonds with a science pup who builds volcanoes for fun? Will they grow apart? Will they come back together with even more stories to share over dinnertime sausage rolls? Their transition into new schools isn't just about changing buildings. It's about growing up, learning who they are outside of their cozy shared world, and stepping into the next stage of life with all the excitement and weirdness that comes with it. One thing's for sure, whether it's on the playground or in a brand new classroom, Bluey and Bingo are about to learn some unforgettable lessons, and probably invent a few new games while they're at it. After what felt like forever, Aunt Brandy is finally stepping into a role she never thought she'd have. She's going to be a mom. It's the kind of news that makes you want to laugh, cry, and throw confetti all at the same time. For so long, Brandy has carried the silent heartbreak of not being able to have kids. And now, just when no one expected it, the Healer family is gaining a brand new member. For Bluey and Bingo, this isn't just any baby, it's their brand new cousin. And if you thought their games of house were elaborate before, just wait until they get a real baby to actually take care of. Of course, in their minds, this means dressing the baby up in fancy outfits, feeding it invisible soup, and taking it on adventures in a cardboard boxcar. What they're not ready for is the reality of baby life, crying at all hours, explosive nappies, and the undeniable fact that babies don't always play along. But beyond the laughs and the adorable chaos, Brandy's journey is going to make Bluey an even more emotional, heartfelt series. We've already seen how much Brandy struggled with the idea of never having kids. Her sadness wasn't spelled out in big, obvious ways, but it was felt. It made the world of Bluey feel real. And now, with this new chapter, we'll see something just as powerful. The pure, unfiltered joy of getting something you thought was impossible. Brandy's baby will shake up the Healer family in the best way possible. For Chili, it means being there for her sister in ways she never could before. For Bandit, it means probably catching a lot more baby spit up than he planned. And for Bluey and Bingo, it means adjusting to a new family dynamic, one where they're no longer the babies of the group. And what about Socks? She's already upgraded from a mischievous, nibbling puppy to an opinionated toddler who knows what she wants. Now, she's about to have a baby cousin of her own, meaning she might just step into the older cousin role too. Season 4 of Bluey is shaping up to be one of the most emotional yet. Brandy's long-awaited baby isn't just a new character, it's a symbol of hope, love, and the fact that sometimes life surprises you in the best way possible. Hold on tight, folks. Things are about to get seriously wild in the Healer world. Winton's dad, after years of navigating the roller coaster of single parenthood and dealing with the ups and downs of infertility, has finally found love again. And guess what? He's moving in with Terrier's mom. Yes, you read that right. Two worlds are colliding in the funniest, most chaotic way possible. Winton's dad, the lovable yet awkward guy we all know and adore, is finally getting the happy ending he deserves with Terrier's mom. This new family dynamic is going to bring a whole lot of hilarious drama, and we can't wait to see it unfold. Imagine the awkward yet heartwarming moments as they blend their two very different worlds. Winton, the lovable oddball, is about to experience a whole new world of sibling dynamics, playdate mashups, and maybe even some new baby siblings running around. For Bluey and Bingo, this is the beginning of even more outrageous adventures. The two sisters, already pros at playing house, will have to navigate this new family situation, leading to plenty of mischief, giggles, and, of course, chaos. From new sibling relationships to the constant changing family dynamics, it's going to be a hilarious ride. They're no strangers to the ever-changing world of family, but this new shift means even more surprises. What will it be like to suddenly have Winton around all the time, sharing their games and maybe even their toys? This could bring out all kinds of new games, funny situations, and unpredictable moments that are bound to make us laugh out loud. Imagine Bluey and Bingo trying to deal with Winton's quirks in a whole new setting. throwing them into a mix of new family dynamics, wacky adventures, and all-around giggly fun. So get ready for a whirlwind of family fun, because Winton's dad is moving in with Terrier's mom, and it's just the start. We're in for a lot of unexpected, hilarious moments, and we can't wait to see what happens next in this zany family adventure. Buckle up, it's going to be one wild ride. Bingo has always been the sweet, imaginative little sister, but as Bluey grows, we see Bingo blossoming into a more independent and emotionally mature pup. She's no longer just tagging along with Bluey. She's making her own choices and standing up for herself, showing a noticeable shift in how she handles situations. One of the biggest signs of Bingo's maturity is her ability to manage her emotions. In earlier episodes, Bingo would often rely on Bluey or her parents to help her feel better. But as time goes on, Bingo learns to process her emotions independently. For instance, in Favorite Thing, when she loses her turn in a game, she starts to recognize her frustration and calmly work through it instead of melting down like before. It's a huge step in her emotional growth. Bingo is also becoming more independent in her playtime. She still loves playing with Bluey, but she's begun to create her own games and adventures. In Bingo, she spends a whole episode doing things on her own while the family is busy, showing that she's growing comfortable with solitude and exploring her own interests. Her sense of responsibility is also growing. In episodes like Duck Cake, Bingo steps up to help out, even when things don't go as planned. She's learning that not everything goes her way, but she's adapting instead of sulking. She's also showing more care for others, comforting Bluey, helping her parents, and being a good friend to classmates. Bingo is still the lovable pup we know and adore, but she's quickly proving that she's wise beyond her years. It's exciting to watch her evolve into Bingo Healer, the independent, thoughtful, and kind-hearted pup she's becoming. Before we move on, a very important and totally serious reminder. Subscribe right now, or a rogue Bluey will sneak into your house, rearranging all your furniture and making you play endless games of house until you can't feel your legs. Hit that button before it's too late. In the vibrant world of Bluey, friendships aren't just part of the play. They're at the heart of the show. As Bluey and Bingo grow, we begin to see which friendships are meant to last through thick and thin. Not every friend from the playground sticks around, but some are destined to become lifelong bonds. Take Bingo and Lila, for instance. From their first meeting in Daddy Drop-Off, their friendship blossomed with warmth and sincerity. They share toys and stories and create imaginary worlds together without any drama. Their connection feels like one of those childhood besties you'll remember for life, even if time and distance come between you. Bluey's friendships are a bit more chaotic. She has Mackenzie, the adventurer, and Chloe, the creative spirit. But Mackenzie stands out, always by Bluey's side through challenges, whether it's navigating change or figuring out emotions. Whether they're herding invisible sheep or building space stations, Mackenzie's steady support shows signs of a deeper bond that could last forever. What makes these friendships so special is how they help the characters grow. Bluey learns patience, teamwork, and how to apologize, while Bingo gains confidence and feels truly accepted. As the series progresses, these relationships will continue to deepen, proving that in Bluey's world, friendship isn't just a subplot, it's the whole adventure. For the most part, Bluey and Bingo have one of the sweetest sibling relationships you'll ever see on TV. They play together, laugh together, and seem to exist in perfect harmony most of the time. But let's be real. No matter how close you are, if you share a bedroom, a bathroom, and basically every waking moment with your sibling, you're bound to butt heads at some point. And as the girls get older, the squabbles are only getting juicier. Growing up means growing into your own personality. Bluey, the older one, has always naturally taken the lead. She's the idea generator, the boss of most games, and, let's face it, a bit of a director when it comes to imaginary play. But Bingo isn't the same little pup she used to be. She's starting to think for herself, stand her ground, and sometimes, shock, horror, say no to Bluey's big plans. That's when the fireworks begin. Imagine this. Bluey wants to play Queen of the Moon, but Bingo's had a rough day and just wants to build a quiet blanket fort. Bluey insists, Bingo resists. It's classic sibling drama. Messy, emotional, and absolutely inevitable. These arguments aren't just for laughs, though. They show something deeper: how the girls are learning to communicate, negotiate, and understand each other's feelings. Take the episode Duck Cake, where Bluey comforted Dad when things weren't going his way. Now, imagine that level of empathy being redirected toward her little sister. It's coming. But first, they have to figure out what to do when someone feels left out, ignored, or just plain annoyed. And sometimes the arguments come from growing pains. As Bluey starts craving independence, wanting to do things on her own or hang out with new friends, Bingo might feel a little left behind. That shift can hurt, especially when you've always had someone right by your side. It's not just about the games anymore. It's about identity, space, and figuring out how to be individuals while still being sisters. But here's the good part. No matter how intense the argument, Bluey and Bingo always find their way back to each other. Whether it's through a silly apology dance, a shared snack, or a quiet moment under a blanket fort, they remind us that love isn't about never fighting. It's about making up after the storm. So as they grow and face new challenges, the arguments might get louder, the eye rolls might get bigger, and the "it's not fair" chants might echo down the hallway. But so will the laughter, the hugs, and the endless bond that only siblings can understand. Because at the end of the day, Bluey and Bingo might fight like sisters, but they'll always love like best friends. And just like that, we've uncovered another jaw-dropping secret in Bluey. But hold on, there's even more waiting to be discovered. If you thought this revelation was wild, just wait until you see what we've got in store next. Click on the next video and get ready to have your mind blown all over again.